So I deleted Instagram at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. And I mean deleted. Not deactivated, not taking a break. Just gone. 30,000 followers, just poof. 3 years of posts, every single one. Every carefully created square. Every witty caption, right? Every humble brag about my quote-unquote entrepreneurial journey. Wiped clean like it never happened. Now, you want to know the most terrifying part about all this? Nobody even noticed, right? Not for a day, not for a week, not 3 months. Just those 30,000 people who supposedly cared. They just moved on. Next account, next story, next dopamine hit in their endless scroll of noise, right? But here's where it gets, here's where it gets worse. When I deleted those apps, when the notifications stopped, when the likes stopped flowing, I discovered something that made my stomach drop. I didn't have a business. I had a performance, like the dancing monkey, right? The morning scroll that funds lifestyles. Okay, so let me paint you a picture of my old morning routine. My alarm would go off, eyes still crusty, barely able to function. My hand would reach for the phone before even consciousness took place. Like literally before my brain would even become online. I'd check Instagram, check Twitter, LinkedIn, check the email, go back to Instagram again because maybe something happened in the last 30 seconds. By the time my feet hit the floor, I already spent, maybe 45 minutes, jumping back between these. Think about that. No, seriously, really think about that for a second. Every morning scroll, every double tap, every story view, you're not just networking, as they like to call it. You're not building anything. You're literally funding somebody else's lifestyle while your bank account is begging for mercy. And so that screen time that you keep on putting up, that's somebody else's revenue and it ain't yours. I mean, I was waking up every single day and immediately going to work essentially. And what it really was working for Meta, working for social media for free. Actually, no, worse than free. I was paying them with my data, my time, my attention, and the most valuable hours of my day. The hours when my brain was fresh, when creativity was its highest, when I could have been building something real. Instead, I was a digital hamster on a wheel, designed by, Stanford PhDs as addictive as humanly possible. So here's something that nobody really talks about. I had over 300,000 followers across all my accounts, collectively, who wouldn't buy anything, who wouldn't even buy water in a desert, right? They would double tap on things, my motivational quotes, leave comments, they'd leave a bunch of emojis, and they'd comment, facts, I want this download, all these different things, business tips that they would want. But when I asked them to buy, even a $9 ebook or a $99 offer, a course, just crickets. I'd launch a $9.99 course, just ghost town. Offer a coaching program, and suddenly these people would just develop amnesia. And this is before I created my first agency. But, the thing is they didn't even know who I was. They suddenly just developed not even giving any two shits about it. And you know why? They weren't following me. They were following a posting schedule. I'd become a human Netflix machine, right? Just bingeable content, but completely forgettable. They consumed my content. They loved my content. They wanted more of my content, the same thing that they consumed, but everything else in their feed, it's just mindlessly reflexive, unconscious. I wasn't building an audience. I was just building a feed of dopamine, a feed for the algorithm. The algorithm essentially wanted consistency, so I posted daily. It wanted, that engagement. So I asked questions in my content. It wanted videos, and so I danced like a dancing monkey. It it wanted stories. So I would document my breakfast and my stories and these long walks of just useless thoughts to complete strangers who forgot me in basically 3 days flat. Actually, okay, here's the story. One time I met somebody at a coffee shop who said that they were my biggest fan on Instagram. And I thanked them and I was like, well, let me think about this. Like, when I asked them what I did for work, they could not answer. They just said, oh, I just love your vibe and who you are. But they actually had no idea what it is that I actually did. That's when it hit me. I wasn't really a business owner, right? I was a digital performing monkey. And my 300,000 followers, they were just tourists at a zoo, essentially. And so when I deleted social media after years of addiction, what happens is like your brain does something, right? Very weird things. Day one, it's the phantom notifications. You like feel your phone buzzing without it even buzzing. And you go to like reach for it every like 3 minutes, right? Like a security blanket. Day two is like when the itch starts happening. That physical sensation when you can't scratch the thing that your thumb literally is trying to scratch. You literally try to open up Instagram and nothing happens because the app isn't there. And so it keeps making that scrolling motion. Your thumb is like, has his own mind of its own. By day three, the panic kind of sets in. Wait, what if something's important? What's happening? What if I miss something? What if somebody's talking about this, about that, or this thing, and what am I missing on it? Now wait. Think about that. Like, what am I actually missing here? So day four, kind of the silence sets in, right? This is when it gets scary in your mind. No likes, no validation, no comments firing. Your existence is just sitting there. Like, do you actually matter? Like, the DMs aren't happening. Do you feel important? It's just quiet. And then day five, the mirror. You start seeing yourself without this filter, without the performance, and without the fake, busyness. And what you see really is it's not pretty. Day six is like where the truth sets in. That crushing realization that your entire quote unquote business was just you talking to yourself in public while strangers occasionally clapped. Day seven is like the question. If nobody's watching, if there's no audience, if there's no feed to fill, then who am I, right? What am I actually building? What exists when the performance ends? And for me, the answer, it was nothing. 3 months into this, my social media darkness, like I had a very real breakdown, and not the kind of breakdown and Instagram story kind where you cry with perfect lighting and my trauma story and all this stuff. And then, oh, hey, by the way, buy my book or product. It was not like that. It was a real one. I was sitting on my bathroom floor at 3 a.m. and I realized I spent 3 entire years building absolutely nothing. No systems or asset or no real customers, no actual value, just endless content. Endless, meaningless content that evaporated the moment that I stopped posting. My quote unquote business couldn't survive 24 hours without me performing. Performing if I got sick, if income stopped, if I didn't post, engagement would just die. And it wasn't even engagement that I was chasing. It was, if I wasn't constantly dancing for this algorithm, I ceased to exist. And you know what I'd been doing and what I've really been avoiding? Every post was, it was a sophisticated procrastination. Every story was really an excuse not to do the real work. Every piece of content was me hiding from the fact that I didn't know how to build an actual business. Social media wasn't my marketing strategy, it was my coping mechanism. I was addicted to validation because I was terrified of failure. Those little hearts and comments and thumbs up, they're microdoses of you're doing great work. That kept me from facing the real truth. I wasn't really doing anything, right? The withdrawal wasn't from social media. It was from avoiding my real problems. So I did something radical. I stayed gone. Not for a week or for a month. Not even for a full year. I stayed gone for almost 4 years. So no progress posts, no humble brags, no building in public, no documenting my journey, just building shit, actual real shit. And you know what happened? Magic. Without an audience, with nothing to perform for, I had to create actual real value and be in the trenches and truly demand greatness of myself without likes to chase if I was doing this or that right. I had to chase revenue without followers to impress. I had to actually impress customers and build my first real product. So in 2 months, and this was not a course about how to make money online, not an ebook about mindset. It was an actual solution to a real problem that actual humans would actually pay for. Month 3 is I had my first sale, and not to like my family members or friends, but to a actual person that was very much followed what I had, a supportive person. And so it was a complete stranger who found value in what I actually created. By month 6, I had consistent revenue, not from launching to like a list every week or an email list, not like that, from systems that sold while I slept. And so by month 9, I actually realized something very profound. The biggest flex isn't posting your wins. It's actually winning without posting. So building in silence is the ultimate test of whether you're an actual entrepreneur or just playing one online, right? So the external validation, no dopamine hits, no audience cheering me on, just you, like the work and the results. Most people can't handle that. And they need the performance, they need the likes, they need the strangers on the internet to tell them that they're doing good. But here's the thing is that like real businesses, they don't need applause to survive. You know, I'm back on social media now, but everything is different. I have actual systems that work for me. They don't need motivation, and I don't need to dance like a monkey to get attention. I treat social media like a tool. I don't treat it like a lifestyle. I treat it like a hammer, essentially. Like you pick up this hammer, and when you need to nail something down, you nail it down, and then you put the hammer back down. There's no more endless scrolling ever. My phone stays in another room entirely until I've done the real work. I don't have bedtime stories. My phone goes off, and I put it on airplane mode about 6 to 7 p.m. every single day, period. There's no endless browsing where I sit there and realize, oh my gosh, another hour's gone by just sitting on Instagram doing jack. And so most entrepreneurs, okay, and this is going to sound a little bit harsh, but most entrepreneurs, they use social media like a stripper pole. They show up, they perform their routine, they collect some money, and they leave. And they do this again and again for years in an endless, mindless loop. And sure, no emotional or attachment, no seeking validation. That's fine. But they're not falling in love with this. They don't fall in love with the audience. And neither does the audience fall in love with them. Like, who would want that, right? To do that for like years. Not me. It's so transactional, right? It's not relationship building. It's not true connection. It just like takes the humanness out of everything. You know, I check my bank balance, my bank account before I ever check Instagram. If the money's not showing up and I don't feel good about it, like the content strategy isn't working, right? And that doesn't matter how many likes or views you get. And I get it. Like the truth is like what I know now, what actually works, has given me the lifestyle that I have today. And this is the game. It's like the only game that you should have. It's the game that I wish I would have understood when I first started. The real secret here is like, you know, I discovered this in those years of going dark, to stop creating for everybody and to start actually creating for somebody. And that someone, that is the person that you used to be. Every piece of content that I create now is for the past me. It's for the person drowning in information but starving for transformation, right? It's the person who had maybe 100,000 followers but couldn't pay their rent. It's the person who thought like being busy meant being productive. It's like working 16 to 18 hours a day endlessly for months and not making a single dollar. Busy, but productive, right? I don't care about any of that anymore. It's like I would much rather work 2 to 3 hours of great work every day and make millions of dollars than to work 16 to 18 hours and feel like I'm being productive. And the thing is I don't create for the algorithm anymore. I don't create for the masses. I create for the person that I truly want to help transform their life. I don't create for likes. I don't create for any of that shit anymore. I create for one person who needs exactly what I needed all those years ago. And that's really like permission to stop performing and start building something that actually matters. And so when you create for your past you, magic truly happens. Like your content gets very specific, your message gets very clear, and your value becomes very undeniable. And so you stop being like an entertainment Netflix monkey dancing person, and you start being the medicine that people actually need. And so here's my challenge to you. Delete your social apps. Like delete your social media apps. I'm not saying like the account, just delete them off your phone and like don't go on them on your computer for 21 days. And you can put an app on your computer that allows you to not go on there as well. And so you should physically delete the apps on your phone. Again, not your accounts, just the apps. And watch what happens. Notice like the withdrawal that comes up and notice the panic. Notice how much your quote unquote business exists only when you are performing. And track what you actually build versus what you actually scroll. And then create one thing of value, completely offline. Have one real conversation without documenting it. Make one sale without any social proof. Feel the discomfort there. That discomfort, if you lean into it, that is going to change you. Because that discomfort, that's not withdrawal from social media. That's your brain remembering what actually matters. And what actually matters is your real business, right? That's the one that you have, the one that generates actual revenue and creates actual value and serves actual humans. It's waiting for you on the other side of that discomfort. But you'll never truly find it while you're scrolling, while you're plugged into the matrix. You'll never build it while you're that performing monkey dancing. And you'll never own it, right? While you're addicted to the strangers validating your existence. The biggest flex this year and just this week, this month, whatever time of life that you're in is not going viral. It's going dark. And when you come back, if you come back at all, like you might tune out for a year and that's fine. It won't be for the followers. It won't be because you have any of the likes and all that shit. It's because you have something real to say, something valuable to actually give, something that truly matters at the depths of your being, beyond the scroll. I'll be there, documenting my journey, sharing the real playbook and sharing the stuff that's in my soul, building in public, without the performance, without the dancing monkey. And you can watch, and you can scroll past. I don't really care. Like those, 300,000 ghosts that used to follow me. They forgot me in 3 days. Or you can join me in the dark, where the real business is made, and actually build things of real value. That is where legacy is created. It's where your screen time truly becomes your lifestyle, and not in the crazy amounts of hours that you work. It's not about that. It's in the quality of the hours. 2 to 3 hours of work is all you need. Deep work, doing something, building real shit. And you will see it. That choice becomes yours. But remember, every morning that you wake up and scroll and you're clocked into someone else's dream, just endlessly doing that, it's not going to help you. Isn't it time that you clocked into your own dream? Like where you see the other side of what's actually possible? Or you see the side of you of what could truly become of your life? Either way, you're going to be building. The question is, will you build what you actually want to build? Your future self. They already know what you need to do. And I'm sure you know what you need to do too. And your future self, they're waiting for you to see if you do that. To step in and actually do the shit that matters. Talk to you soon.